Okay, this is the critical lap. This is the critical lap. Confirm.
Leave me alone. I know what to do.
Welcome back to the Critical Lap. Daniel, how are you?
No worse for wear, Reuben. It's great to see you. How are you?
I'm glad to be back. I've been traveling. I've been out of office. Been out rolling around. Just globe trotting like I do.
Tell us a little bit about that, Rube. I feel like this was a good enough trip that we shouldn't hold back here.
Oh, I mean, there was some Formula One involved. It was a good trip, a nice break. Got a nice Ferrari hat. If that tips you off about where I was, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Fun story about that, though. I'll kind of get to that. But yeah, I was on the road a little bit. Traveled out to Italia. Ooh. And got to go to a great wedding. Had a friend who got married out there, and got to see a bunch of old friends, do some a little bit of sightseeing, watch some Formula One. It's a good trip, but I did miss. I had a lot of immediate thoughts about that Mexico Grand Prix, and we didn't get a chance to chat through it. So I'm excited to kind of get into it. I did rewatch the race because the first round I watched with a big group of people, and I was pretty distracted. And the second time through I got to see more of the detail, actually hear the radio messages. So yeah. How about you? What's going on in your world?
Just doing a little bit of traveling myself, just not as illustrious and fun filled as what it sounds like you were up to.
Sure, basically James Bond, yeah.
Yeah, super secret stuff. So yeah, just be bopping around doing what some might call work.
Okay.
But hey, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's what they say. Some might call this work. Nice. Well, yeah, no, it's great. It was a good trip. I traveled to Italy, to Rome, a couple other places. I was actually in Sorrento, so kind of doing the touristy scene on race night, and so I thought it was ironic that I'm in Italy, and I thought, it'd be so great. I'll be able to watch a race. And I looked up, this was months ago. I looked up what race was happening and realized it was happening at like 9 p.m. It's the Mexico Grand Prix. Like, of course, it's a North American race.
So you endure the entire European circuit, and you can't watch the races live, or you have to get up super early if you do.
Yeah,
and then you when they're finally in North America, when they're finally in this hemisphere, you swap, you go back.
Yeah, and everybody in Italy is going to bed because it's 9 p.m. I thought it was going to be 10 p.m. and luckily, Italy went ahead and fell back on their daylight savings time a week earlier than the United States.
Overachievers.
So, but it worked out for me because I didn't have to stay up till like midnight in the sleepy tourist town of Sorrento. But no, it was a lot of fun. It was odd. I got really excited because I thought, I'm going to get to watch. I'm going to find a place to watch it, right? Like, I don't know what the situation in Italy is with the Formula One race, but I'm assuming it's similar to here, where they have sports bars, and I'll be able to find a sports bar somewhere where they're watching the Formula One race. This will be really fun. I'm gonna buy a Ferrari hat. For those of you who are watching on our video stream, you can see I bought a Ferrari hat. I got Charles Leclerc because he is Mr. Ferrari. I want the proper hat. I literally went into a store and was looking at all the different Ferrari hats, and the Italian guy there was like, didn't speak much English, and I don't speak much Italian. And he literally just like picked up the red one after he saw me like not able to decide. I found a really nice blue, like Italian blue one. He was like, the red, classic red. And I was like, yep, you're right. I want the classic red. So I got my hat. I'm all excited.
Quit messing around, dude.
Stop. Don't touch that blue one. Stay away from the yellow one. Get the red hat. So, okay, I got the Ferrari hat. I'm ready to go. I go to dinner with my wife. We're sitting there eating, and I'm like, where do I watch? And so I'm talking to the owner of the restaurant. I'm like, hey, where do I watch the Formula One race? And he's like, oh, right here. And he points next door and he shouts at the guy that's standing out the doorway of this Irish pub. Like, they have an Irish pub in Sorrento. And he calls the guy over. He's like, something to talking Italian. And the guy looks at me and he's like, oh, it's starting right now. I'm like, okay. Like, let's pay. And then we got to go next door. Like, literally next door. I walk in there. And
your wife's like, why are we in a hurry? I don't understand. What are we doing here?
He's like, wow, like, I thought we were having a nice night. I'm like, we are. And it's about to get that much better. So we go over to this Irish pub. And it's full, not of Italian people excited to see me in my Ferrari hat, but British, Irish, and Scottish people. And I think one Australian. who were all packed in there to watch the Formula One race. I don't think there was a single Italian actually in there watching the Formula One race. Presumably, they're not watching the Formula One race in an Irish bar.
No, they're definitely
such
doing it in like a Ferrari bar. Like the Tifosi is in a Tifosi bar.
Somewhere there's a Ferrari bar, and it's not in touristy Sorrento. Probably.
Yeah, the home team gets a lot of different.
Yeah. But it ended up being such a fun group to watch with. I mean, they were pretty psyched. The only problem was I walked in and they're like, "Oh, Ferrari fan," and I was like, I mean, like, and I literally did the like "when in Rome" joke because it just applies so often. And I was like, "When in Rome," and they were like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and then they're like, "Well, Hamilton," and I literally had to like tip my hat and be like, sure, because when you're surrounded by a bunch of British fans, what else are you gonna say?
There are some annoyingly devoted British Lewis Hamilton fans.
They love Hamilton. They love Hamilton. So it was a good time. Really fun watching the race. And I walked in and I missed the start of the race. And so hence the reason I went back and watched it later. Because I walked in late and they were already like fully locked in. And I was just like, what happened? What I missed? And they're like, oh, Verstappen went off and mowed the grass off. So Hamilton's got a penalty. It was a fun time. And then I tried to open a ketchup bottle for my French fries. How very American of me. And the ketchup bottle was weirdly pressurized and exploded. Not like in a, like, oh no, it's all over my fries and stuff. It exploded like in a 360-degree explosion of Ferrari sauce, I think, as we call it.
So they gave you the prank bottle of ketchup, right?
Apparently.
They were like, oh,
yeah.
We got another one.
Yeah, I opened it and it just, pow, like everywhere. And I immediately look over at my wife and I'm like, what? Oh, and it's like on my face, all over me. Like, what just happened? And then I like look over and there's an entire table full of Irish gals who are all like cleaning ketchup off themselves. Like the guy in front of me, I think he was from like Nottingham or something. There's ketchup like down his back. Like he was sitting in the bar stool next to me. It's like shot down his back. It looks like I'd shot him all over the bar. It's on the TV screen, like above me. It was fantastic. And the Irish or the Italian guy who ran the bar, he clearly was very frustrated that I have made such a mess. And then I think he realized like the scale of it and realized it's not just like a drunken American like spraying ketchup. Like it actually exploded everywhere. And then he got very apologetic. But it was great. Everybody was super cool about it. I showed you a picture of a guy I ran into. I think his name is Ashley from England, who had taken his father to the Ferrari factory for his 80th birthday. And he said his father was just like over the moon about it. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. He's like, I'd love to show you a picture, but I can't because they put these like stickers over the back of our phone so that we couldn't use the camera on our phone. I didn't ask him, like, did they put it over the front screen?
I was about to say, what about the front-facing camera?
Because I would just selfie all the way through that place. But they put it over the back.
I mean, it stands to reason that they could probably start at the selfie camera and go around the back, and that would just
like sort of wrap the whole phone.
Yeah.
That's fair. But he had cut it off when they left, but he had left a little chunk on the back panel of his phone and left it there. He's like, I'm going to leave this on here as long as I possibly can. It was a great group to watch Formula One race with.
Well, now I know that you can catch Ferrari at the factory during an off week and get a tour even if the cars are there, they'll let you in and let you see everything.
Well, he said the cars were there. It was really exciting. Part of me was wondering, like, the cars were there, but are they flying them back to the factory on off weekends?
I think the car is the one thing that like is always in some sort of custody, right?
Okay.
Whereas like I think the what do you call it? The hospitality suites, or I don't know, whatever they call like
trailers?
The traveling. Yeah, you can't call them like, I wouldn't call them an RV or a trailer because they're literally just like these modular like hotels that pack up into a few different containers and then they get like reassembled each time. So I think those they have like 3 sets, and one's the Asia, one's the Americas, and one's the Europe. And they like as they travel around, they're kind of like
those just stay
moving around in a smaller region versus completely going around the world.
Right. But the car has to have like It has to have like a guardian who like puts it on a
Right.
plane and takes it home at the
I
end
don't
of the
think they
race.
can be like, so the most recent tracking update is that it's in,
Yeah,
I'm like they
right.
they know what's up. They're
Those
putting
need
it
to
on the
be-
plane. They're taking it off the plane.
That makes sense. I mean, and I just was laughing because I just thought, man, like you just get this mental image of like the Ferrari car, like in Drive to Survive, they're always back at the factory. It's like Zach Brown walking into this like beautiful factory. You just get this mental image of like the car is just rolling in, and be like, "Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back." With a little bit of champagne sprayed over it.
If you win one weekend, does the car get an applause as it comes back to the factory?
It's gotta, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't. I don't think it gets an applause if you like DNF, right? Just like engine failure.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Mexico Grand Prix.
Too soon? Nah.
Too soon. We probably should jump into that. There was so much to talk about in this race. You ready to talk about Mexico Grand Prix?
Let's do it.
You still have all the memories of the Mexico Grand Prix? Some of them a little woozy.
I mean, it was a great race. Yes, there's
fantastic.
a lot of things that I could still just run through my mind because it was a really interesting race to watch.
It's so enjoyable. I was kind of going back through it, and I thought there was only one time, right in the middle, sometime around lap 40, 45. There was a stretch there where it felt like 4, maybe 5 years of just Piastri following the two McLaren or the two Mercedes around.
Yeah, yeah.
Just lap after lap after lap, and Norris or Russell being frustrated. But aside from that kind of monotonous 4, 5, 6 laps or whatever it was, the whole race was fun from beginning to end. So yeah, let's jump into it. Qualies were pretty straightforward. I think the big takeaway I had from qualies were Piastri just still looking very pedestrian. Seems like he's kind of lost his Piastriness, his Iceman, his thawed.
Yeah, we can jump into that. I think a combination of a few things. One is a lot of other teams have brought upgrades that are making differences. I think that's part of Max's recent form. Is that Red Bull has updated his car. I think Haas has brought some updates to their floor in the last few weeks.
That is quite the floor.
So you see Ollie Bearman showing out here, which was really fun. Honestly, I think he got driver of the day. I'm pretty sure. At least when I saw the vote now thing, he was the front runner.
Yep.
That was huge, and I don't think it was just it wasn't rain. It wasn't something else. Like I think that Haas car is finally able to do something and defend itself a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think other teams are getting a little bit better. I think Lando Norris has found some mojo. He's gotten, and he's even talked about this. He's said like, "Hey, I've sort of like finally figured out the car to the point that I can actually take some chances or feel like I'm pushing it to the edge."
Right.
Because this qualies this weekend that we're talking about here, he basically pulled a Max Verstappen where it was just like, he broke below the 116 mark and was ahead by 2.5 or 3/10 on pole, and it was just that was kind of, to me, that was the Max Verstappen move of like, where did this come from? Where did he get this extra time, and why can't anybody touch this?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's true. It does feel like maybe others are moving up and Piastri's staying relatively the same. If that performance has been good all year and consistent, but consistent won't get you there right now. You got to go.
That's what I think. That's what I think. Granted,
so you don't follow all the conspiracies that Norris is being completely favored and it's entirely unfair. You were not part of the booing Mexico crowd.
Right. That's what I was gonna bring up here. No booing from me, and no. I mean, conspiracy or not, like I said, like I've always said, it takes a village. Every single decision counts towards the outcome. So maybe the team decided, hey, we really just we got to pick one. Maybe, but I doubt it very seriously. I don't think we would be this close to the end of the season with an undecided.
Right.
Considering how dominant they've been. Usually when there's a dominant team like McLaren right now, and maybe with the exception of 2016. But when there's a dominant team like McLaren, Mexico City is like, and mathematically impossible now for anyone else to win the world championship.
Yeah. Piastri being a little bit kind of under the weather, I guess, was the big takeaway I had from qualifications. Not a lot else there, other than Hamilton just looking strong. I felt like his cleanest and most assertive qualification yet. A little bit of a bummer, I guess, from the race. So looking at the race and just kind of jumping into the results. Lando Norris pulls out his 10th win of his career. First place finish for Lando Norris. Not even close. 30 seconds ahead of the next person in the race. He had a pretty quiet race. I mean, once he got through the first lap, he didn't see anybody else for the rest of the race. But Lando Norris in first. Charles Leclerc, just by the skin of his teeth, walks away with a second place finish right in front of Max Verstappen, who rounded out the podium in third place. Really good drive from Max Verstappen. Jumped up to third place and just really impressive. His last stint was really impressive in that race. And then, as we kind of called out a little bit, Oliver Bearman with his best finish of his F1 career in fourth place. For a minute, I really thought he was going to be on the podium this race, but managed to convert it to a fourth place finish. Oscar Piastri, fifth place. And then Kimi Antonelli, George Russell, the Mercedes boys just hanging out that whole race together and finishing sixth and seventh. Lewis Hamilton in eighth, Esteban Ocon in ninth, and Gabriel Bortoleto. Man, I have the hardest time with that name. In 10th. Really good finish. Hamilton, it should be noted, would have had a much better finish if he had not had a 10-second, what do you call that, stop and go penalty or whatnot. So that was a little bit frustrating to see, because I think that would have been a lot more of a competitive race if he had not had to.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because Carlos Sainz had several penalties, and I don't know if you remember this, but he was breaking the speed limit in the pit lane.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw that.
And so, and it wasn't, I mean, there was nothing he could do. He was pulling into this pit lane. He's pulling into the pit lane, and the speed limiter on the car was working, but there was something fighting it. So there was this jolting and jumping, and he was going as fast as the speed limiter would let him. But then I think the car would then like speed up beyond it. So he broke the speed limit there in P1, P1, the first pit stop. Then he broke the speed limit again in the second pit stop, and he got a penalty for the first one. Then in the next pit stop, he had to stop again, do his penalty time, but he also broke the speed limit. And then they penalized him again with a stop and go, or sorry, with a drive-through penalty, not a stop and go penalty, but like a drive-through penalty. So in my mind, I'm just thinking of this vicious cycle of Carlos Sainz can't stop speeding in the pit lane, but they keep making the drive-through. It's for a penalty. So anyway.
Here, pull back in again. No, please, just let me drive. Can I just stop on the curb for 10 seconds? Right. Carlos Sainz with a 17th place finish. And by finish, I mean he did not finish, but he at least didn't retire with Fernando, Nico, and Liam. Not a great race for old Carlos. Not a great race for the Williams in general. But otherwise, a really fun race. It just was a blast to watch. I mean, really down to the very end. The start was what everybody was talking about for good reason, I guess, with going 4 wide and then Verstappen mowing the grass. And it doesn't matter which angle you look at on that. He should have hit the wall. He was so close to hitting that wall. I would have loved to I should go back and listen and see if he's a talkative driver when he almost hits the wall. Because if I'd been driving that car, I would have been going, and then pull out the edge, because he got so close. And you don't notice it till you watch his view. And then you can just see those logos coming up fast.
Yeah.
And feel the car kind of getting away from him. I did think it was funny that there was a moment where somebody said something probably halfway through the race, or maybe 20 laps in, one of the announcers made a comment like, and Verstappen's gonna have to clear Bearman here pretty fast, or made some comment about how this should be pretty straightforward. And then He never pulled it off. It was only the pit stop strategy that got him ahead of Bearman. Bearman had
100%.
a really strong race.
The great thing about Haas doing well in this race was that it was entirely on merit, and Bearman spent the entire race holding off basically 2 Mercedes. Just never two strong cars, 2 very strong cars with really good drivers in them, and Bearman somehow defended it. And on a track there was plenty of overtaking, so it's not impossible to get around a car on this track. So blown away. Between Haas and Ollie Bearman's ability, just blown away.
Yeah, if the pit stop strategies had gone differently, if Verstappen hadn't had that pit stop to jump him ahead of Bearman, technically there were 4 drivers who couldn't pass Oliver Bearman: Max Verstappen, Kimi Antonelli, George Russell, and Oscar Piastri.
True.
Because he held off Oscar Piastri all the way to the end as well.
Oscar had a chance at the end for sure.
Yeah.
And if Russell, one of the funniest radio pieces in this race was Russell just all 5 stages of grieving, just begging the pit wall to swap positions with him. Just
what in the world? What Mercedes? It's like the Mercedes strategy team was like, we're gonna run and grab a quick coffee, and then they got locked out or something, couldn't get back in for 30 minutes. What was happening? The radio in general, we got to talk about radio. This was the race of radio.
I would agree with that.
I think it was way back in China. We had several great radio messages. We had to kind of decide which was best. I think overall, if you just want to listen to good radio, this was, first of all, there was just the Russell channel. The Russell radio channel was worth tuning in. There's 3 great hits on that one. But also there was Albon really irritated because they were asking him about tire balance and asking him about, and he was just ask the other car, ask Carlos.
Well, so it's funny you bring that one up, because what I was thinking there was that Albon couldn't figure the balance out, but Sainz was actually performing somewhat well, before all these penalties.
Before he pulled into the pit stop lane and couldn't stop accelerating.
So I think Alex was just please just ask Carlos how he set his car up. And I just want to do that. Just ask him. Ask him what.
Just ask him.
Well, and it was an interesting. So maybe that's just a little inside view of Carlos is figuring the car out, and he's advancing past Albon's ability to figure the car out, especially in terms of setup. Carlos Sainz has always been referred to as just as much engineer as he is driver, right?
You say that, I just get this image of somebody trying to learn manual, through the pit lane with Carlos Sainz getting penalties. Yes, but on setup, he seems to have figured out something with that car, and they're not sharing as much information as you would kind of hope might be shared.
The only person you really have to beat is your teammate.
Right. So, but to be fair, in the other cars that are very competitive from England, Norris at one point they pinged Norris and was like, "Hey, to help the other side." Any feedback on the softs and the mediums? Ooh, that's a little bit of a humbling moment for not that Piastri asked them to do that, but it's a humbling moment to get out and realize at one point your team had to call the other side and be like, "Hey, any of these working better for you guys?"
Yeah, can we get a little help here?
Which shoes should we put on?
I'm having a little trouble with question number 23.
Yeah. So all those were great, but then you got Russell Radio, and then you got Verstappen. Verstappen's message. Okay, here's my quick reaction for you. Which message did you enjoy better as an F1 fan? Russell just explaining to the entire Mercedes garage the way strategy should be done in this race over several messages, right? Leaving voicemails, or Verstappen's engineer not putting it on mute when he just leaned over and asked somebody are we on a 1-stop or a 2-stop strategy right now?
Right.
Which of those as a fan did you enjoy more?
Oof. I would say the Verstappen call was more enjoyable, because the Russell calls were all just sort of cringy. It was all just a little bit of "Oh, George. Oh, buddy."
Awkward. Yeah. Your mic is hot.
Yeah, your mic. Yeah, everyone's hearing how desperate you are.
Yep.
And the worst part is when they did finally actually switch positions, he was no better at attacking Ollie Bearman than Antonelli was. So But no, what was funny about the Verstappen call was that the commentators come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's a very normal question to be asking because the pit wall engineer isn't also the strategist."
Right.
And I don't know, I don't think there was much else said about it, but in my mind, I'm just like, if you're a driver and you're like, "Oh, my strategist has, my engineer has no idea what strategy we're going for," and then what did Max say? It was like, "I'm hearing everything you're saying."
I am hearing everything. It's very much like I'm supposed to be under anesthesia right now, and I can see you getting the surgery equipment. I'm like, excuse me, I think I'm supposed to be on mute right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
or as a comment of like, "I'm going to remember this in your next performance evaluation."
Yeah. Well, or knowing Verstappen, who's probably watching the screens as he goes by, the jumbotrons, he's also thinking like, hey guys, I'm hearing this. Like we are hearing this. Like the rest of the entire paddock and the world. Because have you seen that? What's that meme with there's a bunch of them of just people eating popcorn. I think my favorite is like Bert and Ernie just eating popcorn, like totally enthralled by what was happening. I just wanted so bad for them to leave that mic on. Like Verstappen was like, "Hey guys, I'm hearing everything." I was like, "Shut up. We are too. Like,
come on.
We want to hear we want to hear what comes next." Like, two. Why two? Like arguing on the pit wall back and forth. Please just leave that mic on for us. It'd be incredible. At least for Drive to Survive. I agree with you. I think that Verstappen radio message was the most fun just because I mean, look, who doesn't love the behind the scenes stuff more than the actual show, right? If nothing else, I would love to see documentaries of just the pit wall conversations, maybe like after the season's over, where you can just hear what they talk about. I'm sure they wouldn't release that stuff for 10 years until it's completely irrelevant. But
well, now I'm wondering if you're in the VIP section or you're behind the whatever, if you're in the garage as a spectator and you're lucky enough to have a set of headphones, I wonder what you're hearing or how much of the team chatter you're hearing. Is it just what we hear? Is it just the driver talking? Is it just
right?
Or like, can you select what channel you want to hear? Do you want to hear everything?
I just couldn't help thinking, you know how we do, Daniel, where we try to think of all the ways we could take cool American sport things and apply them here. You know how those guys on the side of the football games, or like at least in the NFL, have those giant like bowls, like plastic microphone bowls, and they just point it so that we can hear every excruciating crack as these players hit each other. Yeah. I just want some dude walking down the pit lane just pointing that at random pit walls and just hearing people panic as they try to figure out what strategy they're on, or yeah.
Or hey, point them up at the balconies where people are spectating and probably being a little bit of an armchair quarterback the whole time.
Yeah. Right. Oh, for sure. How many like ex F1 drivers are up there?
Yeah.
Just running their mouth about like back in the day. I would. Yeah. Speaking of American sports things, I had a moment after it was like turn 4, 5, 6 or whatever. Whenever, when did Hamilton lap 7 is when Verstappen and Hamilton kind of got into it. Hamilton went off, ended up passing him, didn't give the spot back and got his penalty. Lap 1 through 7 with all the grass mowing that was going on. I had a moment where, again, World Series, I don't know, raise your hand, fans, if you guys are also World Series fans and watch the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Great series. Fantastic Game 7. There's a moment in baseball where if you throw a pitch and almost hit my player, and he's got to hit the dirt, and then he gets to take his base or whatever it is. And then the next inning, somebody throws a pitch at your player because there's a little bit of kind of back and forth. Now people are talking and they're getting irritated. At some point, the ump will just step forward in front of all the players and will warn the benches, right? Just like warn both sides. That's it. Don't do something else. Like, I don't care who does the next thing. I'm going to start throwing people out. And they'll just warn both sides. I think there might need to be the equivalent of that when you're at like lap 7 and everyone's mowed the grass and everyone's pushed each other out. Just be like, okay, look, that was crazy, but like, so from here on out.
If I see one more of you cut a corner, so help me, it's going to be a virtual safety car.
Yes. And there needs to just be a moment because Verstappen just keeps, lap 1, Verstappen's like, I'll do whatever I want. I mean, nobody's going to do anything to me. I'll just go off the road. I'll push somebody off. And like, it's lap 1. Come on. So they just need like a point. Like, you know how they do like the DRS has been enabled? They need a point where it's like the benches have been warned. Like all the shenanigan time is over. If you cross the blue line again, if you run somebody else off, now it will count. And then just let them kind of free for all in the first 5 laps. So there's my hot take of the just rally car racing, little bumping, knock each other off, whatever you want to do. Lap 5, DRS enabled, knock it off, everybody.
I like that. So, because think about this. If you pretty much know that anything you do on lap 1 ends up being rolled a racing incident,
Yeah.
doesn't that just kind of start to mean that you can just break the rules intentionally on lap 1?
Yeah.
Not exactly. You can't be too flagrant about it because I think that stewards reserve the right to just actually penalize you for something.
Sure. Yeah.
But this last weekend shows actually not really. They're either told, hey, just let it happen.
Yeah.
Or they want it to just happen, and they just say it's too tight to call. We can't call it when it's
right.
When you're fresh off the grid, and there's
4
15 or 20 seconds between first and last.
Well, and I know lap 7. You can argue both sides. Hamilton, it was later in the race. People were kind of developing the races and whatnot. However, there was still some pushiness there with Verstappen coming in, and then Hamilton goes off the track. When he came back on the track, Verstappen had been passed, and I kind of had a note where I was like, well, I'm not entirely sure how he was supposed to give the spot back, given that he went off the track. Bearman passed Verstappen, and then Hamilton comes back on the track in front of Bearman and Verstappen. So, presumably he could have slowed down and let Bearman and Verstappen pass him again, but it's not entirely clear what you are supposed to do there. So I think because Hamilton's penalty was leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
Right. Well, I think what he actually got was leaving the track and rejoining the track unsafely, or not following the steward's instructions, which is basically like the rule that you need to join the track. If you cut that corner, you join the track in that specific spot, or you follow the safety lane. Did he get the penalty for that or for the previous incident?
It's well, that's what I thought too. And I think that I could be wrong. So listeners, call us out here. But my understanding was that the announcers called out like that was the initial penalty, was leaving the track and not following the race director's instructions and following that like on ramp or whatever. But then the 10-second penalty was because anytime you leave the track and gain a lasting advantage, it's a 10-second penalty. So the penalty was that they felt like he gained an advantage. But again, it's like I guess he got an advantage in the sense that he got past Verstappen. If he had made the turn and not gone off the track, he would have been behind Verstappen with Bearman behind him. But because he went off the track, Bearman passed Verstappen. Like that's a situation where it's messy enough that to me, you kind of say like, why, either tell him what you want him to do, or you're going to have to just say like, sometimes they go off the track. I don't know. He had a big lockup and like swung into the grass. Like, I don't know. It seemed like that lasting advantage was a little bit chaotic. He could have slowed down and then he would have lost 2 spots. Is that fair? Like, should he have lost 2 spots because of that?
And maybe he knew that he would have lost 2 spots. Maybe he knew. I don't know. I saw the replay on that, and I kind of thought he was going too fast. He couldn't slow down enough to make that turn. But had he made that turn, had he been able to just under traction or under good conditions actually make it around that tight line and back onto the track, I think he would have come out ahead. But I think he wouldn't have been going as fast as the other cars, or maybe. I don't know. Maybe you would have been going a good bit faster because it's a pretty tight turn that he skipped.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, either way, he got a lasting advantage, but then he wasn't able to put any distance between himself and Bearman anyway. So,
right.
I don't know. 10 seconds still felt kind of harsh, given that everything else that kind of went on. I did. So, what was your take on turn 1 with Verstappen going wide?
I think you have to look at where those cars were at the apex. So they were 3 wide.
Yeah.
Lando had a little bit of advantage. I don't think they were ever quite 4 wide. Lando, I think, always stayed ahead. But Lando was driving that turn like a reasonable person, but he's in first place and he's got a clear line ahead of him.
Right.
So I think he was just able to slow down at the right amount of time on cold tires to get through that turn and not lose it. The other three that were three abreast next to him were all pushing it to the just absolute limit to try to get this good start advantage that they gave themselves. Because if you're that driver in that situation, you're like, look, oh my gosh, I'm almost to, I'm right behind P1.
Right.
And then next thing you know, he's got company.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's this or fourth, right? Either I push it all the way through or I'm behind two cars that I somehow got ahead or, have the chance to stay ahead of. Right. So then you're Verstappen and you're on the far outside of, you're the third abreast, let's say that, on the outside. The same thing's going through your mind, but then you just run out of track. You run out of space. Whether or not you got the advantage or whether or not you were in the right spot when you rejoined, I think has to do with where you were when you came to the apex of that turn. And I don't know if anybody really cares on lap one. If anyone's like, well, he never quite got ahead or he was ahead of this car, but that car was ahead of this other car. So
right.
What are we doing here? I think they just go, racing incident, too tight. Like we can't make this call every time. So I would say that's my take. I would say like, what are you doing that far on the outside, Max? Like what's the best case scenario here for you to actually go through this turn that wide, or for someone to have a lock? Like you're just banking on a lockup from somebody that you can somehow overcome and then take their spot further inside. I don't know, but it's Max Verstappen, and I'm sure he would defend himself with if there's a gap or that you don't go for, then you're not a racing driver or whatever.
Right. I don't know. I mean, because he mentioned at the end as well when they did the interview with him that he hit the curb on the outside. And he ran over that curb and lost some traction. So when he hit the breaking point, he like had nothing. And if you go back and look at it, once he gets pushed wide, I mean, he drives over that entire curb like full speed, and you start seeing that smoke and stuff kick up behind him. So that absolutely contributed to his ability to get some traction. Was he going to make the turn? No. I mean, I don't think he was ever going to. Somebody was going to get hit, or he was going to claim that they pushed him wide, right? Like they were going to get up there and he was going to swerve into the grass and then say, "Oh, they pushed me wide. They pushed me off." But ultimately, he had it worked out for him in the sense that he starts. Where did he even start? Was it like fourth? He started, fifth. I think he started fifth in this race. And he starts fifth and ends up like third after jumping back on the track and letting some people by him. So that works out fine. That's all right. So accelerate up, get level with everybody, drive off the track, and then be like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll give some spots back." But I was third when I went off the track. And you're like, well. All I'll say is that I'm not too frustrated about it because I love kind of seeing all the different varieties of ways that Max Verstappen makes it work for him, that makes the racing work. It never ceases to amaze me that he finds every little edge to make it work. Hamilton drives off, sort of kind of gets gets an advantage a little bit, maybe. 10-second penalty. Max Verstappen drives off the track, jumps 2 spots. I couldn't stop.
If we give Lewis a penalty, it has no effect on the world championship. If we give Max a penalty, it makes it less interesting. What are we going to do here? It makes
it less interesting. That's true. So, and I mean, Hamilton's got enough. He's got enough. Championships. We don't need him up there in the race.
What is it? What does he need help?
Well, that's all I had on that one. It was a fantastic race. I think the last thing that was interesting about it was right about the time. I mean, Verstappen just tracking down Leclerc, and then the only thing that saved Leclerc was that virtual safety car. It was. I mean, there was no way.
The memes on the virtual safety car for Leclerc are hilarious. I
haven't seen any of them.
It's basically it's Leclerc is just living life and zero worries in the world, and Verstappen is the opposite character of that, and it's just this back and forth, and they're hilarious. But yeah,
I can only imagine Verstappen's fury. What cracks me up about him, and this is why I still enduringly love Verstappen. He's a competitor. I'm sure he's likable, dislikable. I'll take shots at him sometimes when he pulls shenanigans in the first lap. That's fine. What I love about him is that even watching, I thought if I was in Verstappen's car and that virtual safety car came up, when I'm like in the zone hunting down Leclerc, I would lose my mind. Like things on the steering wheel would get broken, right? Like especially as they're coming around the last lap and you're please just take it off. There's no reason for this to be on. I would be like, right? Like you would just see me like freaking out in my car. And then they asked him afterward about the virtual safety car, and he was like, "Oh, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose with virtual safety cars." Wow. I'm impressed by his how even keel he is sometimes, but
there's definitely a chance that he's benefited from a virtual safety car in his career.
Yeah,
and
that might have happened.
That instant doesn't come to mind, but that's probably what's going through his mind. He's like, "Oh yeah, that one time I was P2."
Let's not start revoking any safety car.
Yeah.
Outcomes. Let's see what happens to Massa in the courts. But yeah.
Speaking of Hamilton, before we jump off of that, maybe a quick reaction for you here. What do you think would have happened if Hamilton had at some point he was maybe down to like 3 seconds ahead of Bearman, and Bearman's fighting off Verstappen, who's got 2 Mercedes and an Oscar Piastri kind of hot on his heels as well. In my mind, at that moment, I think it was lap somewhere like not quite 10, maybe early teens. I don't know, somewhere like that. I'm just thinking, what if Hamilton slows down just enough to give Ollie DRS, and then he just locks a DRS train behind him, and he doesn't have to worry about Verstappen getting ahead of Ollie Bearman, doesn't have to worry about then defending against Max Verstappen. He's, I don't know, 6 or 8 seconds behind Leclerc. He's not taking anything out of that. In my mind, the strategy should have been like, "Hey, buddy,
you're going to want, speaking of Mario Kart, you're going to want to hold that banana peel behind you for a minute."
Exactly, yeah. So,
my feeling was that I think Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, they felt a lot stronger going into that race than the strength they actually had. I mean, they went out hot, and it looked like they had a really competitive car. And then as the race went on, that Ferrari just didn't have the long-term pace, right?
Yeah.
I felt like every other car kind of woke up, right? Like the McLarens got better and better and better. Piastri started looking a little bit more Piastri-like by the end of the race. Verstappen's car always seems like halfway through his car's like, "What? Okay, yeah, let's go." And then it just takes off and he starts passing everybody. And Leclerc was fading at the end. He was getting caught. He had a 30-second gap to Norris.
He could have been in trouble.
Lewis got dinged, but even halfway through that race, he was struggling to catch up to Bearman.
Yeah.
To lose Bearman, to put a gap between him and Bearman. So I think that Ferrari just doesn't really have super strong race pace, which is surprising after the way they performed going into the race. But yeah. Really good race. Had a blast. Couple things in the news. Anything else on the race, Daniel? Had a couple things in the news wanted to run by you?
Nothing for me on the race. Good one though. If you haven't watched it, worth 90 or so minutes. Just good, solid action, fun radio. Yep. Good event overall, and Mexico City shows up, dude. The fans there are wild. They're devoted.
There were 2 things about that track too that I love. One is obviously everybody's favorite when they go through the stadium. It's just such a great shot. The other one is, for some reason, their flyover wire camera that goes over the pit lane when those cars were all pulling out of the garages. That's just a good view. There were a couple times here in qualifying where they all came out at the same time, and there was something about that angle and the 4K camera or whatever they had that was just solid. Great track. A lot of fun. And do you remember, this is really random, but do you remember the website runp.com? Did you ever hear this?
Mm-mm.
All right. Way back in the day when the internet was young, there was a website that would literally tell you the best time in the middle of a movie to run and go to the bathroom. And so it would say like, okay, at like 39 minutes, they repeat the same exposition as earlier in the movie. You've got 7.5 minutes. You're not going to miss anything, right? Or there's a flashback and it doesn't matter. This race has a built-in run P moment right in the middle where it's like, hey, right when Piastri catches up to the DRS train behind the Mercedes, go ahead and head to the restroom. You're not going to miss
That's
anything.
right. That's right.
If you catch one, you've caught them all. Daniel, how do you feel? Congratulations to Charles Leclerc, who is now engaged. So, shout out to my boy.
What?
Oh yeah, yep. He is.
Chuck's off the market.
Chuck
Don't tell
is
me that.
off the market. Yeah, sorry, ladies. He's yeah. He's
Hey,
off.
congratulations to him. I feel like he's been with the same woman, same partner, whatever, for a good hot minute now. I feel like she's the same one as the one who appears in the last several seasons of Drive to Survive.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he plays piano to her. And
I wonder if she's been holding back. I wonder if she's been the one dragging her feet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Have you seen Charles Leclerc play piano barefoot in his apartment in Monaco?
Have you seen his little...
I would say yes if he popped the question.
Have you seen his little tailored driving suit that just perfectly accentuates his figure in his waistline? Allegedly. So I was mentioning this to you earlier. I thought I'd sent you this reel, but somebody in the Formula One social media universe is throwing a little shade at Leclerc for being so... I don't have a word for this. It's just so, it's just
people
so about everything.
And jealousy and envy will do bad things to a person, make you go after good people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Shameful. But nonetheless.
Listen, yeah. I've thrown shade at him. If my wife is watching, I'm like, I bet that guy's a jerk. Yeah. I bet he drives bad in real life. Yeah. Probably kicks dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the shade that was getting thrown was over the fact that he gets his driving suit specifically tailored just for him, so that his amazing figure is always. And I'm doing Donald Trump hands right now. I just didn't have him in the camera. So his figure is always, just looking just so. And then, I like a person who thinks that every detail matters. I agree. Everything matters. Sure. The details are important. So I don't have a problem with it. What do you think? Do you think it's real, or do you think it's just someone throwing shade?
I think it's 100% real, because am I the only one that assumed that all of their suits were tailored? I just assumed these guys were wearing like hand customized everything.
Well, so
doesn't the FIA dictate what underpants they can wear because like a fire retardancy?
There's no validation of this information. This is just me observing. But what I see are two different brands of driving suit on the grid, in the pit lane, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You got Sparko, and then you got the Star one. I forget what the Star one's name. What that one's called. The Sparko is just like potato sack. Max Verstappen wears it. I think it's team by team, not driver by driver.
He does not want to accentuate.
It's just square body.
Sure.
Stick some sleeves on. Whatever.
Get you some space in there.
The Alpine Star is what it's called. The Alpine Star brand, it's got these little like gussets in the shoulder, and your arm moves around, but the shoulder stays the same, and it doesn't, it's not like bunching up when you come around.
Sure.
It's not just like sleeves stuck to the square. There's like some thought to it. There's like a little bit of
engineered for comfort.
Sure. Tailored, if you will.
Part of there. Yeah.
So in my mind, I just thought, drivers either go for Alpine Star or Sparko, and they just have a preference. Some of them want a little more room to wiggle. Some of them want a little bit more fitted, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never worn either of the brands, so like I have no idea.
You got me.
But to your point,
listen, if I had to say, create a group of drivers that wears like tailored, jumpsuits, and then the group that doesn't, Charles Leclerc would be in the one that had tailored.
Yeah. And they're spending all this money on their helmet being perfectly tailored to their head and their face and everything that works for drinking and talking on the radio. So it would make sense to me what you're saying.
It did make sense to me that they would do that. Yeah, I would. Like, I'd be like, listen, I've got to be in this car sweating in Singapore and other places. Like, I want a suit that's comfortable. I'm basically sitting in the bathtub position for 2 hours. My knees up. Yeah, no space. I heard years ago that George Russell's feet, he's the tallest driver, and his feet are so big, he has to wear shoes that are 2 sizes too small because otherwise his toes scrape the roof of the cockpit. I'm trying to remember where I heard that. Like his which is why I told my youngest reserve driver that reserve driver is as far as he's going to get because he's a tall one.
Because he's lanky.
He's going to make George Russell look short one day. So I'm like, hey man, unless you want to cut your toes off, I don't know that you're fitting in that cockpit. You know?
Yeah. Hey. So I wonder though how that would work. You're basically squatting 200 or 300 pounds when you're putting all the force on the brake that you have to put on the brake to stop that car. Mm-hmm. So I wonder how that works if your toes are all bound up. Can you actually put
uncomfortably?
Or are you just hurting yourself? You know what I mean?
I think you're hurting yourself.
No wonder he sounds so mad on the radio. That makes sense. Honestly, that makes sense.
You scrunch my toes up for 2 hours and make me step on a pedal. Yeah, I get mad too.
Yeah.
Maybe they've adjusted the cockpit. Maybe that was the Williams cockpit. Mercedes is like, George, we can make your cockpit bigger.
George is like, can I just get like a little bubble right at the front? And Williams is like, we cannot afford that. Are you kidding me? And Mercedes is like, yes, George.
What's that analyst's name who does all the car analytics? He's got a screen. He's like zooming and he's like, I'm really excited to see what they're bringing to Mercedes car this year. Look at this really interesting bump over the cockpit.
Yeah.
That's just George Russell's toes. Kimi Antonelli's like, I don't need that bump. I'm okay.
Yeah.
My feet are size 4.
Kimi's like, can we make the car smaller now? Can we go? Can
you just shrink it a little bit?
You see how small I am, right? You can just...
Yeah.
You can do like Leclerc's driving suit and
just accentuate my hips. Is what I'm looking for here. All right. Also in the news and style related, Williams has rebranded. They are no longer Williams Racing. They are Williams F1 team. And their W is now slightly angular or italicized, if you will. Look it up. It's happened.
We went from W to W.
That's right. It's almost like it's leaning in or it's accelerating. I forget which direction, maybe left. So unfortunately, they're not adding more yellow to the livery, which
that is too bad.
It's like somebody
wouldn't you love to see just paint the top yellow where that Duracell battery is. Keep that blue and white we saw at the Austin GP.
Fine. Yep.
Get that air intake hump yellow. Mm-hmm. I mean, there doesn't have to be a camel there. You can put a camel there if you want, but there doesn't have to be a camel there.
You don't have to be a camel.
Are there any camel brands that could sponsor F1 and get away with it?
Camel brands?
Like, is there not a consumer packaged good or something that's camel related?
I think we walked away from the camel in the 90s. In the early 2000s, like
you can't advertise
we were like, I'm just gonna let that guy go.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe somewhere. But I listen. My thing was like, did they send the painters to the wrong car? They're like, listen, go put a big splash of yellow on the like Williams car, and somebody wandered into the Alpine garage and was like, hey, paint this whole rear wing yellow. I saw someone lining up an Alpine for a pass on this race. And I for a second, I thought, which car is that? Like, it was just the whole back of it was yellow. And I could not remember which car was yellow now. And it's the Alpine. The answer is the Alpine.
The pink one. The answer is the pink one.
Now yellow. All right. Well, let's go look it up. The Williams is rebranded just in time to make the hat that I bought this year like retro. So that'll be cool. Or I don't know what you call retro. It's like Marvel movies now with their prequel sequels. Like my hat is now the
throwback.
The prequel. The new throwback.
All right. The sprequel.
That's it for me. I don't have any other. Oh, I have one last quick reaction for you.
Ooh.
Podium finish. The McLaren, they lift that whole McLaren car up to the podium. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Really cool stuff for Mexico. Very, very, very Batmobile coming up out of the ground there. And then they spray champagne everywhere. And I caught an angle where champagne is getting sprayed toward that car. If you're Max Verstappen, do you not just unload all your champagne straight onto that car?
We'll get a little more in the air intake.
Oh, man,
Can
it's
someone
all over
take
your
the gas
seat.
cap off, please? I got to get some of the champagne in the gas tank.
They go into Brazil and they're like, Lando Norris is taking a new engine. Yeah. That actually did surprise me, though. I thought, like, that seems like something. Did the FIA already like weigh it and everything? Because anyway, it's a risky business. It does always crack me up how official they are and everything. They scrape the tires, they weigh these cars, like everything is really, really, really official. But when they get out of the car, they run over and just like jump into the arms of their team.
Yeah, people could be putting like all the keys in their pockets.
Oh yeah, just hey everybody, like cough up all the change you got. We need just like when Charles Leclerc. No, you're not Charles Leclerc. You can't fit it into his outfit. But like when George Russell comes over here, give him the bigger shoes. Put some weight in there. On that note, we got Brazil coming up. Be talking to you soon with the result of the Brazil Grand Prix. Look forward to that one.
Do we know what the weather's going to be at the Brazil Grand Prix?
I mean, last year it was like
last year it was
like a boat race.
Yeah.
Hey, let's see if Verstappen do it again, right? Put this one in. I don't know. I think I saw some stuff of people back and forth on whether it was going to rain. So
yeah, Brazil marks more or less a year since Lance Stroll just totally phoned it in. just
pulled off.
Just was like, I'm tired.
Realized his car wasn't stuck and was like, well, I'll fix that.
Yeah. What? How did that know?
No, I'm
if
done
at first
driving
you don't
today.
succeed.
Reverse into the grass. Sounds good. Well, Daniel, good to see you again. And for those of you listening, thank you for joining us. And if you're a new listener, thanks for coming along for a fun conversation. If you are a returning listener, thanks for coming back. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, add a comment. For those of you who know maybe if Charles Leclerc has tailored outfits, go ahead and throw that down there.
Let us know. Confirm or deny.
What shoe size does George Russell wear on race days and elsewhere? And we'll see you next time at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Thanks as always to our legendary pitwall producer, Chris P.
Chris P.
See you next time.
Later.